Here's a statistic that stopped me cold. The global food system is the single biggest contributor to biodiversity loss on our planet. Not mining, not urban sprawl. Food, and here's the kicker, it's also making us profoundly sick. Today, we're unpacking why what's on your plate matters far more than you think and what you can actually do about it. So let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Our food system accounts for roughly 18 to 25% of all greenhouse gas emissions per person in the UK. That's second only to the energy sector, but it gets worse. This same system is the primary driver of deforestation, freshwater pollution, and the collapse of aquatic wildlife. We've seen global marine biodiversity fall by 49% between 1970 and 2012. That's half our marine life gone in 4 decades. Now, in my decades of clinical practice, I've watched the health consequences unfold in real time. We're seeing rates of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and diet-related cancers that would have been unthinkable a generation ago. And allergies. There's been a 338% increase in children's A&E admissions for food allergies since 1998. Something has fundamentally changed in how we eat. Much of this comes down to ultra-processed foods, what researchers call NOVA Group 4 products. These are items containing additives you'd never find in a home kitchen, artificial colors, stabilizers, flavor enhancers. And the evidence is now overwhelming. High consumption of these foods is linked to increased cancer risk, cardiovascular disease, and yes, even depression. Here's the vicious cycle. Healthy food generally costs more per calorie than those processed options. Ready meals, confectionery, cheap meat products, they're engineered to be affordable and hyperpalatable. So people on tighter budgets get caught in what the National Food Strategy calls the junk food cycle, where economics push them towards the very foods that are making them unwell. And we need to talk about livestock, particularly beef. Here's a number that might surprise you. Globally, over 77% of farmland is used to rear animals, including grazing and growing feed crops. In the UK, that figure is 85%. Beef alone requires approximately 88% of all land allocated to producing animal-based calories in the US. The Eat Lancet Commission, and this is a consortium of leading scientists, recommends we need a greater than 50% reduction in global red meat production and consumption, alongside doubling our intake of fruits, vegetables, legumes, and nuts. That's not extremism, that's what the evidence demands. So what's the practical takeaway? You don't need to become vegan overnight. That's not what the science says, but here's what does matter. If you eat red meat, keep it under 500 grams per week. That's cooked weight. And minimize processed meats like bacon and sausages. Prioritize plant proteins, beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds. These aren't just good for the planet, they're associated with lower rates of heart disease and certain cancers. Audit your ultra-processed food intake. Start reading ingredients. If there are additives you cannot pronounce or wouldn't cook with at home, that's your red flag. And if you're reducing dairy, ensure you're getting calcium from fortified alternatives or other sources like fortified bread. The truth is, every meal is a vote for your health and for the planet's future. Small, consistent changes compound over time. If you find this useful, subscribe to MedHeads and share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'm Dr. Ferghal. Stay curious and stay well.